What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Best of None. Today we're going to get in here and draft some Bloomborough Limit. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That sounds miserable. We're going to have fun instead. Okay, so here's what we're doing today. I thought it would be a really fun idea to rank Planeswalkers who are currently legal and standard in the most objective way I can think of, and that is how confident I am that they could cook me dinner. So, we've got close to 20 Planeswalkers currently legal and standard. If you're wondering what a Planeswalker is, you probably clicked on the wrong video, but little backstory. Planeswalkers are these multiversal beings that exist in Magic the Gathering lore. They are kind of like the super wizards. Yeah, they can travel between planes, hence Planeswalkers. The rating system today, at the very top, our S tier, if you would be the mukbang. And then we got would travel up to 10 miles, and in parentheses, Los Angeles. And if you know anything about navigating Los Angeles, that means you're a really good cook. Let them cook. Hey, you know, if they're a couple blocks away and they're like, come through, I'm gonna come through. Edible. Yeah, they make food. Nothing special about it. They invite me over, probably declining. They hit me up and they're like, hey, I want to come through and cook. I like free food. Hey. Vegan tier. This isn't necessarily derogatory, but I kind of wanted to separate these out from who I deemed, I think everyone else on this list is pretty omni as far as their eating habits go. So we got Taco Bell on the way home. Look, I'm going to take a bite. I'm not rude, but I'm probably not filling up. And then we get the hospital tier, which I find to be probably the most self-explanatory. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about some Planeswalkers that are legal and standard. So, up first, because alphabetical order was the only way I could think to order these, we got Ajani. Now, you ever open a can of cat food and think to yourself, boy, I want a mouthful of that? Yeah, me neither. And if you did, no. And also, bad. Anyway, well, that's Johnny. He's a cat. You know, what do you expect? You think it's pate, but no, that's just like fish eyeballs and chicken livers. Next up, we got Ashiok. Ashiok was really difficult for me to place. Initially, I'd kind of suspected hospital tier, right? And I thought about it for a while. And I thought about it for a while more. Ashiok's head is kind of missing everything north of this area right here. So if we're thinking, you know, there's that age-old saying that when you lose one of your senses, the rest of them get heightened. Ashiok, no nose, no eyes, no sense of smell, no sense of vision. So I'm thinking double amplified taste, hearing, and touch. And that means a lot. Double amplified taste means this is actually probably going to be up here in mukbang tier. And also, they're going to be playing some killer music. You're going to walk in the door. Everything Counts is going to be playing on the Alexa at the perfect volume. After dinner, if you're lucky enough, you might stay and get some of that S tier touch as well. So, first contender in the mukbang. It's a competitive world. We'll see how this tier comes out. So Chandra. Initially, I had Chandra down here pretty low. I was thinking Chandra screams girl breakfast to me, but at the same time, Chandra's grown a lot over the years. She's grown a lot over the years. She's become more comfortable with who she is. She's become more comfortable with the world around her. She spent some time alone. She's probably got some chops in the kitchen. She's edible. She's edible to let him cook. She's either towards the bottom of let him cook or at the very top of edible tier. Either way, I don't think I'm going to be disappointed in the food. Let's put it that way. I'll leave her in the top of edible for now. We'll see if we can move this around. All right, let's talk about Ellie here. Archangel Ellie too. So, Ellie grew up on New Capenna. And I don't know if that immediately makes her Taco Bell on the way home, but I'm not super confident in her skills. She's a warrior. She's literally been to hell and back. She's not had a lot of time for cooking in her lifespan. So I'm thinking she's either bottom of edible, top of Taco Bell on the way home. I'll throw her an edible next to Chandra for now. Not expecting anything like big out of her, but I don't know that it's going to be awful. I think this is the safe pick right here, right? Jace. I just want to start by saying Jace is not a good cook. Jace's boy breakfast is hell, but when I'm thinking about it, Jace is also a mind mage, right? It kind of doesn't matter what he cooks you. He's going to make it taste delicious in your mind. And perception is kind of everything when it comes to food. So he's probably not going to fix you something that looks appealing. The second it gets in your mouth, he's going to alter that to be the most beautiful thing you've ever tasted. For that reason, Jace gets to cook. I'm sure it's going to taste amazing. It's probably just going to be like a bowl of kicks or something like that, but it's going to taste incredible. It's going to be the best bowl of kicks you ever had. All right, let's upset some Vorthos. So, Lily here. Everybody loves Liliana, right? One of the most loved planeswalkers in Magic existence. This is effectively the Ari of the universe. Liliana is not a cooker. She's a looker. And Liliana is also girl dinner incarnate. In fact, if you are lucky enough to spend the night and you ask her what's for breakfast, this woman is going to throw a Celsius and an elf bar at you. 2 minutes later, she's going to ask for the elf bar back, and she's going to ask you when you're leaving. So Ellie gets quickly put in Taco Bell on the way home. All right, Karn. I think this one's pretty obvious. I think we all know that this one is pretty obvious. Karn's going to hospital tier immediately. Not only is he in hospital tier, he's probably in dental tier. You're getting like nuts and bolts stew, and the liquid is just nothing but oil. All right, Kaido. Now Kaido, despite being friends with the Emperor, is kind of from the streets. I initially had him down here in this Taco Bell on the way tier, but the more I think about it, the more it's at least edible, if not let him cook. He looks fit. He looks like he seasons his food. That's probably not 4-star chef, although he's probably good with the knives. I'm gonna put him at the top of edible for now, and I think that's an appropriate place. Kaya was another tough choice here. So Kaya's got a couple of things for and against. She hangs out with cops. I'm talking Alquist Prof. Almost made a tier on her own for that. But at the same time, Kaya's not pale. You know, I'm not saying that's the only thing that comes to cooking, but from my experience with my group of friends, you know, I get a higher battering average on the melanin inclined food. But also, she's from nobility. Nobility doesn't tend to cook a lot for themselves. So I think Kaya's going to sit firmly and let him cook. I don't think it's going to be bad. In fact, I think it's going to be pretty decent, but I don't think it's going to be amazing. I don't think I'm traveling for this. Definitely not gorging myself. All right, 2 Jayas. The reason there's 2 Jayas is clear to me and unclear to you because I haven't explained it yet. But we look at Jaya. Jaya gives big grandma energy, right? She's good. And I think the cooking on its own, you know, grandma's cooking, variable degrees. You know, my grandma, not somebody I'm like excited to hop in the kitchen with, at least for dinner. However, you see that braid and you see that confidence. This woman is a monster of a baker. Like, this is a pineapple upside down cake that will change your perception of pineapple upside down cake. And for that reason, her desserts are going to go up here and would travel up to 10 miles, and dinner itself is edible. It's probably mid-edible. So I think this is an averaging out to a let him cook. Dessert, again, going to be phenomenal. Dinner, going to be average. Sits out and let him cook. All right, Lukka right here. Lukka is our first vegan, you know, friend of the animals. I don't think he's one of the egregious vegans. I miss Foxy Lukka, but it is what it is. I think he's probably the top of vegan tier. Like, it's seasoned, but there's no protein that feels a little bit lacking. All right, Koth. So, Koth, again, not very pale. There's some seasoning involved. And Koth's got access to all that fire. For that, Koth is going to hit the wood travel tier. I think Koth screams grill master to me. Like, this man's got the apron and everything. Probably like a leather apron, but it's probably embroidered with a little K for Koth and then a little kiss the cook if you dare type situation. I think this man's a monster on the grill. We're going to leave him up in the wood travel tier. All right, Nissa. This is vegan. This is vegan derogatory. You are at Nissa's house, and you're asking what's for dinner, and she says fiddleheads, and you're like, great, what else? And then she just kind of stares at you. You're stuck eating ferns for dinner. This is vegan and also Taco Bell on the way home at the same time. All right, Nahiri. Now, Nahiri, I had initially thought was going to sit somewhere around Liliana in girl dinner zone, but I thought about it a little bit more. And you ever been to a restaurant where they bring your food out on like a scalding hot rock? or you ever seen them throw fish on that like superheated salt, the lithomancer energy alone is going to bring Nahiri up to this wood travel up to 10 miles Los Angeles. And I see those like blazing hot rock sword hands, and I just imagine you take a raw steak, you season it proper, and you just let her cut it with those things. And you're going to have perfectly cooked sliced beef. All right, I'm hungry. Oko, initially to me, just struck me as boy breakfast through and through. Like, same thing as Jace, but not a mind mage, so clearly Taco Bell on the way home. Then I thought about it a little bit more. Oko loves food. Oko is also fit. So I'm thinking, this is going to be chicken breast, but it's going to be seasoned. That's going to be sitting on some quinoa and black beans. It's actually going to be a pretty satisfying meal. I think Oko is not just edible. I think I'm letting Oko cook. I think I might travel down the block for that, you know? So we'll toss Oko here in the let him cook tier. Oh, Quintorious Khan. So we don't know the most about Quintorious Khan. Probably the newest Planeswalker on this list. He's older than Kaido, so we've had some time with him, but we haven't seen a ton from him. So I had to kind of base this on vibes and mostly fit, actually. And I have eaten food from people who dress like this before. I mean, shit, I've been to Burning Man. I know what's good. So, given the kind of steampunk aesthetics, the leather, it's edible. It's nothing to write home about, you know. This is probably similar to what Oko's making for dinner, but without the seasoning, and that just leaves it kind of bland, you know. You know what? Quintorious says I'm coming over to make food. Yeah, come through. Quintorious says I'm making food, come through. I'm busy. All right, Otter Raoul. Literal Otter Raoul. Raoul's always been an otter, but the literal version is what we got in Planeswalker. I got 3 words. I love sashimi. Putting that up in the wood travel tier immediately. Saheeli Rai. So, Saheeli's big on gadgets, you know. She's got the air fryer. She's got one of those machines that like cores apples for you and stuff like that. She got a juicer. She might not be the handiest in the kitchen, but she's got all the tools to make up for her shortcomings. And with that said, I'm going to put her and let him cook firmly to Fairy. All right. This one was the most obvious one to me. And it might be obvious to y'all. I'm going to let it linger for a moment so y'all can throw down in the comments what you think it is. Alright, Teferi is clearly mukbang. This might be the most solid mukbang we have on the list, too. Teferi is a fucking time mage. Good food takes time. You come over to Teferi's house, he wasn't even planning on cooking, you're getting a little hungry, he's like, you want some food? You're like, yeah. You watch this man throw a brisket into a time hole, comes out 5 minutes later, and you have bird tens that have been cooking for 22 hours. No questions at all. Teferi is mukbang. Teferi is also the top of mukbang. This is the person I trust most to cook me dinner out of the entire pantheon of Planeswalkers. All right, Vraska, Hospital. Any questions? Good. All right, Eternal Wanderer / Wandering Emperor. Not only has this card and persona inflicted a lot of trauma on me personally, but also they're royalty. And given that, I don't trust them in the kitchen whatsoever. This is a freaking emperor. They've been cooked for their entire life. You ask them to fix something up, they're going to fix you a whole nothing sandwich. For that, Taco Bell on the way home. Maybe even the hospital. Who knows, but not a good cook. Do not trust. 0 out of 10. We got Ren and Realmbreaker. So, Realmbreaker, clearly vegan. However, I think we're going to the top of vegan for this, and it's only for the reason that Ren themselves is known for splitting them trees, if you will, breaking it up. One of the best spices you could ever have in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say it out loud. Whatever. This is YouTube. I'm trying to get monetized here. Okay, Tyvar. Tyvar is a fit boy. Tyvar initially I kind of put in the vegan tier, but I think Tyvar's food is at least edible. Might even be on the upper end of edible. I think Tyvar kind of sits in a place that's similar to Kaido. Tyvar's on that meal prep, but he's not skimping on the pepper. He's probably throwing a little bit more salt than he should at it, which I appreciate as somebody who might be eating your cooking. We're gonna throw you up here at the top of edible tier with these 3. You know, I think Chandra's probably making tastier food than Tyvar. That's a tough decision. Maybe Chandra is in the bottom to let him cook, because I think these two are about on par with each other, and I think she's a level up from there. Yeah, that looks good to me. All right, this brings us to our final Planeswalker. Urza. You ever have somebody this old offer you food before? Hey, I got some olives and sardines, huh? You stoked? Canned oysters? No, Urza's Taco Bell on the way home. Maybe even hospital if he's not checking the dates on what he's got in the pantry. But just looking through this man's pantry, I think this is Taco Bell on the way home. That's it. That's all of our Planeswalkers for Standard. If you enjoyed this video, hook your boy up with a like. Maybe subscribe if you want to see more content like that. If you want to catch me live, I'm up Tuesdays for the rest of the semester on twitch.tv/BeeOhZero. I'll throw it down in the description so y'all can find it. And with that, thanks for joining me. Peace out, y'all.